A glow in the sky, a sign of the fire which took hold at Nelson Bay Golf Club. Once the day had dawned, the full extent of the damage could be realised. The interior left in ruins. While most of the blaze was extinguished by 7 a.m, firefighters remained on scene throughout the day. For club president Max Pride, news of the fire came as a terrible blow. Nelson Bay has a 3,500 strong membership base, and the clubhouse has been part of the community for more than 5 decades.
Supports a lot of community groups, support groups. It employs community people, and the large majority of the members are locals.
The club's board will hold a meeting tomorrow to discuss how it will move forward. With 1,500 golf members, it would like to see events resume in the near future.
That's our number one focus, is to get people back onto the golf course first. Looking at the building, obviously it's going to be months, if not years, before we have a fully fledged clubhouse operating again.
It was a catastrophe. You just looked at it and you thought, well, it's just going to have to be knocked down and start all over again. I think that was obvious.
When you drove in, the brick facade of the clubhouse was pretty much intact. You could see the roof was gone. It was still smouldering. It was a crime scene, so only access was given to limited people. So we were able to come in and survey the damage from externally. And once you went around the back of the clubhouse, you could see that everything was gone, and we had to start planning moving forward.
Yeah, well, I remember I got a phone call from Greg Steins, our course superintendent, and he said, well, what do you want to do? And I said, look, it's business as usual for us.
Bit of a shock, but the guys here, they're a good bunch of guys, and they'll get it back together again.
With a few temporary measures in place, including a portable bar.
Pleasure, absolute pleasure.
Have a good day.
You too.
It was back to business for the popular club.
I remember, and there'll be a photograph somewhere of Maury, and I think it was Adam back then, standing at a makeshift counter collecting money in a cash tin. The way things used to be done 50 years ago, I suppose, but we made it happen. We got people on the golf course, and we had 150 people playing the comp that day, so it was a real show of support for the club.
Then we had the insurance people there, and they were pressuring us to, get the place knocked down, build it. We can have you up and running in about 6 months.
Things were going too quickly, and we had to pull back, and that's when we did appoint the loss adjuster so that we could slow things down and make sure that the insurance company and everyone was working in our interest, not necessarily the interest of the insurance company. To keep our members at the club so that they didn't just finish their golf, walk away, go to another venue. You had to maintain contact with the members.
Again, with discussions with the insurance company, they were keen for us to continue operating as best we could to make some money.
That was imperative, which we have covered for 2 years.
It gave us a home because we were getting people for golf. We wanted to have basically the same facilities as we had in the clubhouse. We knew we couldn't do functions. We knew the acoustics weren't going to be that great, but we knew if we had a big deck, we'd get the nice northeasters blowing in.
I suppose the biggest challenge for demolition was asbestos on the site. So we had to get that all checked, and Greenscape, they were a specialist asbestos contractor, identified where we had asbestos. Then we engaged Coffee to take charge of the demolition.
The costings for the demolition was, I think, in our policy we had $750,000, and we didn't get a lot of change out of that.
Basically, we had to make sure the site was cleared and passed by an environmental engineer to make sure any of the hazardous materials are removed and the area is safe for building. Hi, I'm Chris Holder. I'm the project manager who works for Coffee. We've been fortunate enough to work on this fantastic project.
Hi, I'm Doug White. I'm the Principal Architect on the new Nelson Bay Golf Club. I'm from EJE Architects. I'm part of the team here, and my fellow director Michael Rogers worked on this project, as does my associate Richard Waterson. And the interiors for this project were done by Rachel Baker from EJE Interiors.
Yeah, hi, I'm Rob Cordwell from Club Projects Newcastle. We're the builders of the brand new Nelson Bay Golf Club.
They were selected based on experience in delivering club-style projects. They seem to just have a great track record.
We had an initial list of some 54 items, what we required in the rebuild of our club. And I think we've achieved all of that.
1,500 square metre slab. We had 420 cubic metres of concrete, all to be poured in one day. 70 concrete trucks, 39 concreters, and all that went off without a hitch. Unbelievable. It's funny when the concrete supplier says it's one of the biggest concrete pours in Newcastle, continuous concrete pours in one day. You know, it's a scary thing, but couldn't have been any more successful.
The one challenge was, though, that we had to then connect the steel framing to a lot of the existing framing that we had here. And that was actually quite a challenge, and the guys spent quite a lot more time than they originally planned making sure the new steel met up with the old steel. But to Club Project's credit, they looked at different areas of the project to work on while they resolved those steel framing issues.
The major issues that we had to face from the beginning was time and budget. I mean that in this way, that if we were to be careless in the design and design something that was not going to fall within their budget, we could have easily wasted 6 months of their time, which they didn't have. So it was pressing on us that we were to be responsible for the budget in a way that it delivered to them on their very strict program the right number that they could proceed with, because we knew that if it was at all falling outside that range, that time that we'd taken would have been lost to the entire project.
The original club had the curved front. The architect wanted to get away from that. They wanted to give this a new feel. They wanted to square off that front edge. They thought it was a better use of space. And so the challenge of forming up those areas around those existing concrete was quite a challenge, and the guys did a fantastic job.
Hi, I'm Rachel Baker. I'm the Senior Designer at EJE Architecture, and I've had the pleasure of working on this project from the beginning with Doug and Richard through the whole process. Well, the idea behind the mural was the actual course map onto the wallpaper, and it's a real feature. Create that as the main piece of artwork and the real focal point when you enter. One of the main important factors when we're designing spaces that have large open areas like what we've got, we have to try and think of how acoustics are going to blend in with the actual finish. So we've got some beautiful ceiling features that highlight that, but we've also tried to drop the space to become more intimate by adding some real feature lighting and cast lighting throughout to really give it some drama. The carpet was a big design feature itself, in that we needed something that could be quite subtle but strong enough to carry from one space to the other, with that anchors the whole design together. I think that layering of finish and of colour and of texture has really set it apart. It looks considered from top to bottom.
The club obviously wanted to put back a facility that was state-of-the-art, that captured everything that their members would want. They did want something that responded to the environment up there, to the area, to the golf course in particular. But really the dominating thing was the view, and the view dictated a lot about how the new floor plate would sit.
We realised early that what had happened has become an opportunity for us to build a purpose-built clubhouse, to see the club into the future. You know, golf is a tough industry at the moment, so we wanted to try and get revenue from outside our membership base.
The new clubhouse is cost effective. We didn't want to be running systems that chewed up a lot of power and cost us a lot of money to run. It'll be the venue in the bay and the surrounds.
The old golf clubhouse was a community hub and it was aged. This new one with better, modern, but still friendly facilities and good staff, I can see that only getting stronger and stronger and stronger.